I didn't even get a chance to fasten the last button on my wedding dress before my phone lit up with the message that knocked the air out of my lungs. Mom, honey, Maddie's having her engagement brunch today. We'll try to swing by the wedding later. Don't stress. Try to swing by? My hands froze on the silk fabric. The makeup artist glanced at me, confused. Everything all right? I forced a smile. Yeah, just family confirming things. Except they weren't confirming anything. They were skipping my wedding for my sister's brunch. On my wedding day? 5 years of planning, gone for pancakes and mimosa photos? Another message popped up. Dad, we'll see you if we finish in time. You know how these family things go. Family things. My wedding apparently wasn't one of them. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stared at the messages until the words blurred together. All my life I'd been the reliable daughter, the you'll be fine daughter, the daughter they assumed would smile and understand, even when it hurt like hell. I slipped my phone into my hand, walked to the window, and breathed in the cold air through the cracked pane. Down below, staff hurried across the massive outdoor venue I had designed myself. Floral arches, a white aisle, soft string lights. Every detail was mine. My pride, my work, my dream. And my family couldn't bother to show up. My maid of honor, Kelsey, peeked in. Ready? The photographer wants 5 minutes before guests arrive. I turned to her, my voice steady. Yeah, let's do it. She studied me. You good? You look like you're about to jump someone or buy a mansion. A laugh slipped out. Short, sharp. Something like that. Because beneath the hurt, something else was rising. Heat. Determination. A cold, quiet fire I hadn't felt in years. My fiancé, no, wait. User forbids the name Ethan. My fiancé, Logan Pierce, stepped inside the bridal suite just then, tall and impossibly calm as always. Hey, he said gently, Kelsey told me, your parents aren't here yet. I held up the phone. They're at Maddie's brunch. His eyebrows lifted, not in surprise, but in that I'm choosing my words carefully way he did whenever my family crossed a line. On your wedding day. Yep. He stepped closer, lifting my chin with 2 fingers. Taylor, do you want to delay the ceremony? No. The answer came out clear. Solid. Final. I'm done waiting for people who never wait for me. A slow smile tugged at his lips. Good, because today is still yours, and I promise before the night ends, they'll know exactly what they missed. I frowned. What does that mean? You'll see. He kissed my forehead. I didn't know what he planned. I just knew Logan never made empty promises. The ceremony started on time. Guests stood as I walked down the aisle, music swelling, every eye on me, except the ones I wanted there most. Several chairs sat empty in the front row. But I didn't stumble. I didn't waver. I held Logan's hands. I said my vows. I smiled through the ache. And when he lifted my veil and kissed me, the applause drowned out everything my family had taken from me that morning. After the ceremony, the sun dipped low, painting the sky in gold and pink. The reception lights flickered on. Photos, toasts, dancing. Every moment felt surreal, beautiful, overwhelming. The only thing missing was the people who claimed to love me. At one point during a quiet lull, Kelsey marched over with her phone raised. Have you seen your family chat? My stomach sank. No. She shoved her phone toward me. Family chat. Hey squad, Blue Heart, Maddie. OMG, brunch turned into a whole party, LOL. Mom, we'll leave soon. Save us cake. Tay. Dad, traffic's bad. We're trying. Typical. Then minutes later, Maddie. Does anyone hear a helicopter right now? Aunt Lisa. Is there some event at your sister's venue? Something loud just flew over us. Mom. Wait, is that the blue one everyone's running outside for? The blue one? I blinked at Kelsey. What do they mean blue? She grinned. Look. From outside the window, a deep, rhythmic thumping cut through the air. Heavy, powerful, close. Guests gasped, rushing toward the open lawn. I stepped out into the evening breeze just as it happened. A royal blue helicopter, shiny, sleek, stunning, descended beside the venue like something out of a movie. My dress whipped around my legs in the wind as it landed, its lights glowing against the night. I spun toward Logan, eyes wide. "What is that?" He slipped an arm around my waist. "A little surprise," he whispered, "for your grand exit." My heart slammed against my ribs. "Logan, that's yours," he said simply. "Consider it our first wedding gift." I didn't know whether to faint, scream, or kiss him again. Inside my phone, messages exploded. "Maddie, wait, is that Taylor's helicopter? Mom, why didn't she tell us she had that? Dad, we're coming now. Stay there. We're on our way." Too late. The girl they always overlooked had just made an entrance they'd never forget, and she hadn't even left the venue yet. Logan squeezed my hand. "Ready for part 2?" he murmured. And for the first time all day, I felt it. Revenge. Soft, satisfying, perfectly deserved, blooming in my chest. The blade slowed, the wind settled, and the royal blue helicopter gleamed like it had been cut straight out of a billionaire's commercial. Guests cheered, snapping photos, whispering, "Is that theirs? Logan really did that?" Taylor's family was going to lose it. Oh, they absolutely were. Because the group chat had shifted from brunch selfies to full-blown chaos. "Mom, we're 5 minutes away. Don't leave, Maddie. Why would she get a helicopter? Dad, stay put. We're almost there." It was the first time they'd ever rushed toward me. Logan offered his hand. "Want to see the inside?" I nodded, still breathless, letting him guide me toward the open door. The interior glowed with soft white lights, white leather seats, and a mini bouquet matching my wedding flowers placed neatly inside. He actually thought of everything. "I wanted the ride to feel like you," he said. "Elegant, strong, impossible to ignore." My throat tightened. "Logan, this is too much." He shook his head. "After everything your family put you through, this is barely enough." Behind us, the venue door slammed open. "Taylor!" someone yelled. I turned. My parents, my sister, and half of Maddie's brunch crew were jogging across the grass in heels and dress shoes, hair flying, faces red from rushing. They looked ridiculous, and I loved every second of it. Mom reached me first, breathless. "Sweetheart, we're here, see? We made it." She grabbed my wrist like she expected me to beam with gratitude. Dad patted my arm. "Traffic was crazy. You should have waited to start." I blinked once, slowly. "The ceremony was at 5, I said calmly. "You knew that." Maddie stepped forward, adjusting her white brunch dress. Yes, she wore white to my wedding, because of course she did. "Why didn't you tell us you were doing all this?" She gestured at the helicopter like it offended her. "Because you were busy," I said softly. "Didn't want to disturb your eggs and selfies." A few guests coughed to hide their laughter. Mom bristled. "Taylor, don't be petty. We came as soon as we heard." "Heard I had something worth showing up for." The words slipped out before I could stop them. Sharp, but steady. Their faces froze. Finally, Dad crossed his arms. "We're family. You don't throw that away over a mix-up." This time, I laughed. Quiet, disbelieving. "A mix-up? You skipped my wedding for a brunch. It was important to your sister." Mom snapped. "And my wedding wasn't important to you?" My voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. Silence. For the first time ever, they didn't have a comeback ready. Logan stepped beside me, placing a supportive hand against my back. "We're leaving for a private dinner flight soon," he said politely. "You're welcome to stay for cake, but Taylor has had a long day." My sister's eyes widened. "Dinner flight?" I shrugged. Logan booked a sunset dinner above the bay. Gasps rippled through the wedding guests. My parents looked stunned. Maddie looked furious. Why would you need something like that? She demanded. Logan answered for me. Because your sister deserves things people actually show up for. Maddie opened her mouth, but I held up my hand. It's fine, I said. You guys got the day you wanted, and so did I. Mom stepped forward. Are you really leaving like this, without us? Like what? I asked gently. In a helicopter with a husband who actually makes me feel chosen. Logan squeezed my hand. The pilot gave him a nod. Ready whenever. I looked at my family, tired faces, annoyed expressions, people who celebrated everything but me. And something heavy inside me finally let go. I stepped backward toward the helicopter door. You skipped the best part, I told them. But don't worry, I smiled, soft and unbothered. You'll see everything on social media. Their mouths fell open as Logan helped me climb inside. And for once, I wasn't the one left behind. The helicopter lifted off slowly, rising above the venue lights, above the parking lot where my parents still stood frozen, like someone had paused them mid-argue. Wind whipped around us as the pilot angled upward, and the wedding guests below erupted into cheers. Inside, the cabin hummed with a soft vibration. The city stretched beneath us like a glowing map. For the first time all day, I felt weightless. Logan buckled my seatbelt with gentle hands. You okay? I let out a shaky laugh. Better than okay. I think I'm finally breathing. He took my hand, brushing his thumb over my knuckles. I'm proud of you. That did something to me. Something warm, something anchoring. Because all afternoon, I had been holding myself together with tape and stubbornness, but hearing him say that made everything settle inside me. I didn't want the day to feel tainted, I admitted, but it did, until now. Logan leaned back, watching me. You didn't do anything wrong. Your family made their choice, and you made yours. I know, I whispered. It's just, they always expect me to apologize first, even when they hurt me. He smiled softly. Not anymore. Outside the window, the ocean shimmered silver beneath us. The pilot's voice came through the headset. Mr. Pierce, we're approaching the bay route. Perfect, Logan replied. Then he turned back to me. Dinner's still waiting at the landing platform. And there's something else. I raised a brow. Logan, the helicopter was already something else. He chuckled. I know, but this one is more personal. The helicopter banked left, giving us a view of the entire coast. My heart thumped in anticipation. Tell me. He took a breath, steadying himself, his voice softening. I know today hurt, and I can't fix your family, but I can promise something else. I looked up at him. From now on, he said quietly, you'll always have someone who chooses you first. Something hot stung my eyes. Logan, I mean it, he whispered. Every day, every moment, you will never feel invisible with me. He lifted my hand and kissed it, slow and deliberate. And for the first time that day, someone's words didn't bruise, they healed. The helicopter descended toward a private rooftop deck glowing with lanterns. I spotted a table set for two, soft light strung above it, and a small string quartet waiting. Logan really had planned every detail, but my phone buzzed before we touched down. Mom. Taylor, can you please call us? This isn't fair. Dad. We didn't know it meant this much to you. Maddie. You could have told us you were doing all this. We look stupid now. I stared at the screen, unreadable. Logan squeezed my knee. You don't have to answer. I know. I clicked the phone off and slid it into my purse. Tonight is ours. We landed gently. The pilot opened the door and cool ocean air filled the cabin. Logan stepped out first, then helped me down, holding my waist like I was made of glass and sunlight. And for the first time in years, I felt like someone worth celebrating. The musicians began playing a soft melody as we walked toward the table. Candles flickered in the breeze. The sun was melting into the horizon, turning the sky orange and violet. Logan pulled out my chair. Mrs. Pierce, your dinner awaits. I grinned. I'm not used to that name yet. He leaned down. You will be. As we sat, servers appeared with champagne and appetizers, moving quietly like part of a romantic movie scene. I looked at Logan over the candlelight. I thought my wedding day would feel lonely without them. He raised his glass, and now I touched the rim of my glass to his. Now I realized something. What's that? He asked. I wasn't missing anything today, I said softly. They were. The clink of glasses echoed in the fading light, and somewhere far below, my family's phones were still lighting up, still watching, still regretting, still realizing the daughter they dismissed had just stepped into a life far bigger than their brunch table. Dinner felt like something out of a dream. Sea breeze brushing against my skin, lanterns swaying overhead, and Logan smiling at me like I was the only person on earth. Every bite tasted better. Every laugh felt real. For the first time all day, I wasn't performing, hoping, or shrinking. I was simply living. Halfway through dessert, Logan reached into his jacket. Before we head back down, he said, I have one last surprise. I groaned dramatically. If you pull out a yacht next, I'm passing out. Close, he teased. He slid a sleek folder onto the table. My name was embossed in gold on the front. I blinked. What is this? Your business license and ownership documents. He paused. For the second venue? My breath hitched. Second venue? The one downtown? The historic one you've been dreaming about restoring? His voice softened. I bought the property last month, and today I'm signing half of it over to you. My heartbeat stuttered. That building was a legendary, expensive, prime location, impossible to acquire. Logan, that's too much. You built your first venue by yourself. He said, you earned everything you have. This isn't a gift, Taylor. This is an investment in you, in your future. Emotions swelled thick in my throat. All my life, I'd been the girl they overlooked, the daughter who got maybe next time, the one who watched her sister get celebrated for things she barely worked for. And here was a man saying, you deserve more. The contrast was overwhelming. I pressed a hand to my chest. I don't even know what to say. He leaned forward. Say you'll keep building the life you deserve, with or without anyone's approval. A tear slipped down my cheek, but for once it wasn't from pain. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed again. I sighed and flipped it over. Family chat. Hey squad. Mom, we're still here at the venue. Can we talk? Dad, this whole thing looked big. We didn't know you were doing so well. Maddie, can you come back? Everyone's asking where you are. Logan glanced at the screen. You sure you want to open that right now? I wiped my cheek and shook my head. I want to finish my wedding dinner first, because their messages, they were no longer emergencies. They were choices. Their choices finally catching up to them. We finished dessert on the rooftop, slow and unhurried, savoring every moment. When we finally stepped back into the helicopter for the return flight, the sky was dark velvet, the city glowing like scattered stars. As we descended toward the venue lawn, I saw them, my parents, my sister, her fiancé, and a cluster of relatives waiting awkwardly near the reception entrance. They looked smaller than I expected, less powerful, more human. The helicopter shut down, and Logan helped me out. I walked forward, head lifted, dress shimmering beneath the lights. Mom rushed toward me first. Sweetheart, we're so sorry. We didn't realize today was going to be important. I finished for her. Her face crumpled. Dad stepped in, rubbing his jaw. We messed up. We shouldn't have gone to brunch. Maddie crossed her arms, trying to salvage pride. You could have told me you were doing all these big things. I did, I said calmly. You just never listened. Silence bloomed thick around us. For years, I would have taken their excuses, smoothed things over, apologized for being hurt. Not tonight. I love you, I said gently, but I'm done chasing people who don't show up for me. Mom swallowed. Can we try again? Can we at least take a family photo? I hesitated. The old version of me would have jumped at the request, but Logan's hand slipped into mine. Steady, warm, grounding. I looked at my family. Yes, I said finally, but on one condition. Mom nodded eagerly. Anything. You show up next time without making me beg. Dad lowered his head. We will. For once, their voices sounded real. We took the photo, me, Logan, and the people who had just been handed the biggest wake-up call of their lives. And when the flash went off, something unexpected settled inside me. Peace. Later, as Logan and I walked back toward the venue, hand in hand, I whispered, "Thank you for today." He kissed my temple. "Thank you for choosing a life bigger than the one they tried to fit you into." And with the music drifting across the lawn, lanterns glowing, and my dress trailing behind me like silk water, I realized this wasn't just a wedding. It was the first day I truly chose.